lack of defense?
Not angry, not even frustrated. No, I think it's more angry. If I have to choose one of those two words, I think it's more angry than anything because I see times where we're doing it the way that we want to do it, and then I see times where we're not. So it's just a matter of finding that consistency where we can do it for 48 minutes. That's the biggest thing right now.
Sometimes is it just a lack of effort?
Lack of focus, I think. I think sometimes our guys get caught, with the I can't say that word on TV, but with the old, what syndrome, and this guy runs up there and it's like, oh, we got to get up there with him. So I think at times we lose focus, and that's something that I discussed a little bit with them today. Maybe I'm playing guys too many minutes, so I have to cut back their minutes and make it a bigger rotation so we can keep guys fresher. I don't know yet, but I got a couple of days to figure it out.
Are you angry because of the losing streak that you're on right now, too?
I'm not angry. The biggest thing with me right now, Jim, is I see progress, from game 1 to game 5. Now, we play some really good basketball teams. If you take a look at all those teams that we played, their record combined is pretty good. So it's not like we're playing a bunch of slouches. So I'm happy with the way we're playing from game 1 to game 5. But obviously, I want to win games. That's the biggest thing. I think our players want to do the same thing. But we got to come out and we got to play even harder. We got to play a lot smarter than we're playing. And then we can't have the lulls on the defensive end where we're allowing guys to get in the paint because we're missing coverages and things like that. That's the biggest key for us.
Coach,
that first win. I mean, it's only Charlotte, so to speak, but it's a win if you get it on Sunday.
Any win's a win. I don't care who it's against. So Sunday, again, we got to go in with that same type of attitude. We got to get the monkey off our back. This is a team that made the playoffs last year as well. So it's not going to be a piece of cake. When we look at teams right now, we got to understand that we're probably the underdog in almost every game that we're going to play. I don't know what teams besides probably a few in the NBA that will probably be favored. So we got to look at it that way, and we got to hold that and be proud about it, but go in knowing that, hey, we got to play harder than we've been playing to get a win.
Coach, 4 full days before you play again, what's on the top of the practice plan?
Defense and transition defense. Just making sure we get our coverages right and do them on a day-to-day basis. And again, that's like I said, I'm going to keep preaching that and keep teaching it every day.
Jim mentioned the focus. Are you satisfied, though, with the effort and the toughness that you were trying to instill from day 1 of training camp?
The effort, I'm satisfied with. The toughness, like I said, toughness to me is two parts. It's mental toughness and there's physical toughness. And there's sometimes when you lose, that focus, you don't have that mental toughness. So the physical part, I think we're doing a decent job. Mentally, I think we got to be a lot tougher.
5 games into the season, assess Kobe after only playing 6 games last year and coming off that major injury.
Kobe's amazing. Seriously, you guys don't know the half of it. The guy's amazing. I think everybody in the league now sees that he has still a lot left in the tank.
When you look at Ryan Kelly, first game, played about 7 or 8 minutes, assess his effort and his effectiveness.
Well, the thing I like about Ryan is the fact that he understands how to play basketball. Very good basketball IQ. He knows where to be and how to get there. He's got a skill set as far as being able to stretch it to the three-point line for a 4-man. It's just a shame that he's only had a couple of practices and only been able to play in the game a little bit. The hamstring tightened up a little bit, so we gave him the day off, and we'll see how it feels tomorrow. But, obviously we could use him.
As hard as you coach and as hard as this team practices, what's the morale like in the locker room without a win yet?
I think guys are still positive, and I think they understand that it's still a long season, and like I said, the biggest thing is getting that first one, get that monkey off your back and then hopefully get rolling.
Byron, how does the team get to the point where the burden's not on Kobe just in terms of the offense?
Got to play, just got to play. I think there was a timeout last game where I pointed at Kobe and said, I know how great this guy is, but you guys got to play basketball. You can't look at him every single time and try to give him the ball. You got to take shots that are there. You can't pass up shots. So, you can't be afraid to fail. That's the biggest thing. You can't be afraid to fail, and you just got to go out there and play.
Does Kobe have to play a role in that as well, or is it just other guys got to just match?
It's a little bit of both, but I think he's done his share of trying to play that role and get those guys, an opportunity to play. But they got to take advantage of it as well. X is still, he's still trying to get up to speed with everything. Each day he says feel a little bit better, so hopefully that'll continue. Because obviously we could use him. Even the Phoenix game, I would have loved to have gone real small and match up with them at the end. So we could have switched everything as far as pick and rolls. Because, like I said, teams look at tapes just like we do, and they know right now our bigs aren't doing a real good job in the pick and roll defense, so they're going right at them. And our bigs have to take that and accept that as a challenge as well, And there's times where they do a good job and there are times where they don't. And again, that's where the lack of focus sometimes comes into play.
With Zombie, is it more of a health thing or more of just knocking the rust off?
Right now, I think it's more of just knocking all the rust off, and that's why today we just did a lot of playing, because again, our guys they got to get a better feel for one another out there on the court.
B, is it more an advantage or disadvantage having this many days off before you play again?
But for us, it's more of an advantage. We get to work on some things that we haven't had a chance to work on the first week of the season because of the back-to-back games. So for us, having these 4 days where we can go out and really be a little bit more specific in things that we need to work on is an advantage for us.
5 games in, winless. What have you learned about this team?
That we're winless. I know that these guys got a lot of heart, a lot of pride. It's when you have adversity, it really tests the true character of a man. So we're going to see what our guys are made of.
You guys had the day off after the last game and you practiced today, but Kobe had played, quite some minutes that last game. Did he talk to you about how he was feeling after that next day?
No, I'm sorry. We didn't talk. The next day we just had a film session. We talked a little bit, but it wasn't about how he felt or anything like that. He's not going to tell you that he's tired, and we talked about some other things concerning the basketball. But, like I said, we had 5 days before the next game. I knew in my mind he wasn't going to do anything for the next couple of days anyway, even though yesterday he came out and shot for about 30 minutes before we even started the film session and said, Coach, if we want to practice, it sounds good to me. And I said, no, we're good. We're going to just watch film today.